Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. It feels like it's Monday because it's like the new year and stuff like that, but it's not Monday, it's Friday. So you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year. Happy Friday. All right. And Happy New Year and all that good stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. It is the first microcap mornings of the new year. Yes, sir. Yeah. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right. Just getting ourselves all set up and all squared away. But how you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a wonderful New Year celebration. Hope you guys popped some bottles and had a good old time with your friends and your family. I know I did, man. I know I did. And I hope you guys had a wonderful set of holidays. And I hope you guys have your New Year's resolutions all set and ready to go. We're just getting ourselves all set up over here. And ready, boom, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Boom, right there. All right, and we're just getting ourselves all set up. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's get ourselves over here. Let's make sure we are all set and ready to go. Let's make sure we are live on the YouTube. Let me make sure. Legal says, Happy New Year. More money, more money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. More money, more money. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we got going on. DWOBs, can you hear my glasses? Hand me my glasses. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very nice. It's very nice. Very nice. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All right. Hold on. Stand by. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's get ourselves all set up. Let's see. Okay, we are live on the Yobi Tubes. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are live on the Yobi Tubes. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's make sure we're live on. Oh, are we live on the X? Let's make sure we are live on the X. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Let me double check. Make sure the audio is working. Make sure that the audio is working good. All right. Let's make sure. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Audio is working, ladies and gentlemen. Audio is working. Good, good, good. All right. Let's get to x.com. Make sure we're set there. Make sure we're all set to go. All right. X, all set. All looking good there. Okay. Let's make sure we're live on the Twitch. Yes, we are. Hold on. Wait. Stand by. Stand by. Hold on. Yes, we are. Good, good. Beautiful. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's what I like to see. All right. There we go. Put that there. Put this there. All right. Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All right. All right. All right. There we are. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're all set. All ready to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this intro started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nix, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nixon House, a.k.a. the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to regular ski. Other times she gets shot out the cannon and she goes, whee! Other times she likes to go to RB's and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times she'll go to Wendy's. Other times she'll steal my lo mein. And other times she'll go out to the stock market and find them ABCDs. After all, she did call out some wonderful stonks like CHOW, DXF, and UAVS. We call her Divya Moms. All right. That's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on. So, before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section. So, be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So let's get started right here. Let's get started. Let's take a look at DXF. Let's take a look over there. Let's take a look and see what we got going on. So DXF currently is below the VWAP as of now. Below the VWAP. It is the day after New Year's, ladies and gentlemen. So some people might be basically, just chilling. It is also Friday, so we got that going on. So as far as volume is concerned, there are opportunities out there. We just got to be very selective with what we got here. That is what we got going on. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look over here. Let's see. DXF needs to break this pennant right over here and also needs to break above this VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. Otherwise, it's You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. DXF needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at UAVS. PAVS. PAVS. Let's see how PAVS is doing. PAVS on the uptrend on some light volume. The float is 667. Actually, no, the volume's higher than the float. The float is 667,000. Volume is 676,000, so we got that going on right there, but it does need more volume to keep climbing its way on up. Does need more volume, thankfully. It does need some more volume there, so we got that going on right there, but it is on an uptrend, forming a bit of a doji candle, so it does need more volume. Needs to remain friends with the trend as well. PAVS on the uptrend. Can it remain friends with the trend? There we go. That's what we got going on, folks. Let's take a look at another stonk here. UAVS. Let's see over here. UAVS has been on a bit of an uptrend, has been seeing some red candles, though, as of late. Needs to remain friends with the uptrend, though, and stay above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. UAVS needs to remain friends with the trend. Has been on an uptrend as of late. So we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at CHOW. Chow, ladies and gentlemen. Chow. All right. Not chow for now, but, chow. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. All right, let's get this over here. Bop right there. Boom. There we go. All right, CHOW has formed a bit of a pennant as of late and is below the VWAP as of now, up 51%. So we got that going on. It's called Chow Cloud Holdings Limited Ordinary Shares. So we got that going on, up 50% as of now. Needs to break above the pennant and needs to break the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. So CHOW needs to break above the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. Let's see what else we got going on. RUBI. Let's see how we got with RUBI right here. Ruby. Yes, sir. All right. is currently above the VWAP, needs to break above this pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya, but it is above the VWAP. So RUBI needs to hold above the VWAPA and break through above the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else we got? All right, let's see here. SMX. Let's see how SMX is doing. SMX currently above the VWAP just a little bit. Needs to stay above that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. But as far as SMX is concerned, needs to stay above the VWAP. Needs to break above the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. SMX needs to stay above the pennant and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Can it break? Actually, needs to break above the pennant. Needs to break above the pennant and stay above the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, let's see what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got going on. Erkan Yaman asks for VNDA. All right, let's take a look at VNDA. VNDA, let's see how VNDA is looking. VNDA doesn't look like it has much in the volume department. Is down 0.57%. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 56 million and change, 56.96 million. I call it 57 million. And the volume is 94,000. So as of now, the float is 56 million. Volume is 94,000. So as of now, the volume is very low. Float is a little bit high. It's a very heavy float. So we got that going on right there. A lot of indecisive wicks over here, which means that there isn't much in the volume department here. And also it is below the VWAP as of now. So it's got that going on right there. Let's take a look at the outlook over here, and let's get some graffiti pencils just drawn over here. Let's get the graffiti pencil activated here. Let's get it. Right over here. All right, so let's get this over here. Boom, right here, and boom, right over. Yeah, right there. So let me get this over here. Bop, right there. Let me get this bigger over here. And bop, right over there. Okay, perfect. So as of now, this stunk is just above the $8.61 support line over here. Has to break the $8.83 resistance line over here, which is also the VWAP. Has to break 899, which is a resistance line, and then 960, which is another major resistance line right over there. So as of now, it does kind of have its work cut out for it a little bit because it is very low on volume. So it has to break above the 899 mark and then break above the 960 mark over here. Also has to break above the VWAP at 883. So as soon as it does that, it could remain somewhat schmexy to me. But right now, VNDA is very low on volume, very choppy, needs volume. VNDA needs volume so it can break the VWAPA. And of course the points of resistance. But for now, it should focus on breaking the VWAP. And once it does that, then it can continue on with what it was doing. But as of now, not looking too schmexy as of now. So we'll see what happens with the stunk. We shall see what happens. Let's take a look at another stunk. DXF. Let's see how DXF is doing. DXF needs to break above the pennant. Needs to break above the pennant right there for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya. DXF needs to break above that pennant, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if it can break above that pennant right there. DXF needs to break the pennant. There we go. Boom, right there. All right, let's see what other stunks we got here. Let's take a look over here. One second. All right. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get it over here. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Somebody requested UAVS. Okay. UAVS. Let's take a look over here. UAVS still friends with the up. Actually, no. Hold on. Let me fix that. Let me fix this right here. It's not friends with the uptrend no more. It is currently forming a bit of a pennant right over here. It needs to stay above the pennant and break above it as well for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. Otherwise, it's just needs to stay above that pennant, ladies and gentlemen. UAVS, as of now, needs to stay above the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. There we go. There we go. Let's take a look at CHOW. 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 CHOW currently still needs to break above that VWAP right there. Needs to break above the pennant as well. So CHOW needs to break above the VWAP. And the pennant right there. So it's got that going on. Let's take a look. Let's see what else we got. Somebody requested DVLT. All right, DVLT. All right, let's take a look at DVLT. All right, so DVLT, very low volume, very choppy. Maybe could potentially, possibly, maybe be a cup and handle, but I highly doubt it because it is very low on volume. So could it potentially be a cup and handle? Maybe, but it is also below the VWAP over here. So let's see what we got over here. Let's see. We could only hope. DVLT can potential cup and handle, needs volume to break the VWAPA. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 300. Let's get the 300, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Let's get the 300. Let's get it. Come on now. All right. Let's see about another stunk over here. Somebody requested NVDA. NVIDIA. Oh, actually, no, I got to do it right. NVIDIA. Yes. So let's take a look over here. NVDA currently right over here. Up 1% right now. NVDA. So let's see what we got going on over here. All right. Doesn't exactly look too schmexy. Needs to break the downtrend and needs to break the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. So NVDA needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. Also is obviously very expensive, $189 and change. This is not a stock that I would personally go into. Granted, I do like NVIDIA as a company, but that's a whole different thing. All right, you know, whether I like it or not doesn't really factor into whether I trade into it. You know what I mean? You know, just because I like some doesn't mean I'm going to trade it, you know? So let's take a look over here. Somebody requested ALCY. Let's take a look at ALCY. Very choppy, not looking too schmexy over here. As of now, currently has a low float. I could just tell by looking at this stock, it has a low float. But let's get the support and resistance lines over here. Currently, it is at the $15.50 mark, just above the support at $15.37. Below the VWAP at 1561, and then below the resistance line at 1603, and then another resistance line at 1711 right over here. So it needs to break above the VWAP at 1561, needs to break above 1603, and then break above 1711 for it to remain somewhat schmexy to me, and it needs volume, of course. Let's take a look at the float over here. Float is 745,000. Volume is 56,000, so the volume is lower than the float. Got that going on right there. Let's take a look at the news. Let's see if it's got any news at all. ALCY, does it have any news? Alchemy Investments Acquisition Corp. 1 quarterly report, Form 10. Okay, it's whatever. You filed 10Q. Well, they faced a delay in filing a 10Q, excuse me, and they also had an investment acquisitions corp 1 10Q over here. So, not a lot really going on in terms of news here. And the last bit of news was November 18th. So, not looking too schmexy here with this news. There's no news here really that is interesting. So, ALCY, very choppy, low volume, not looking schmexy at all. ALCY, low volume. Broke the VWAP, though. Broke the VWAP on low volume. So we got that going on right there. Low volume, but broke the VWAP right there. So we'll give it credit where credit's due. It needs to do that. Somebody requested DGNX. DGNX, let's see how DGNX is doing. DGNX currently needs to break this pennant right over MIA. Right over MIA. For it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. Needs to break above this VWAP as well. So DGNX needs to break the VWAP and needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. DGNX needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. DGNX. There we go. Let's take a look at the news for it. Does it have any news? It does have news that they filed. They had a corporate statement by a foreign issuer in the form of Form 6. But other than that, nothing really interesting there. Let's take a look at the float. Float is extremely heavy at 104.9 million. So I call it 105 million. Volume is 1.4 million. So we got that going on right there. Volume is a lot less than the float. The float is about 100 times larger than the volume. So we got that going on right there. Needs to get some more volume for it to be so much schmexy to MIA. Is up 21%, but as of now needs more volume, ladies and gentlemen. So we got that going on right there. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 500. Let's get to 500. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, also, when you check out our 4-day trial, you get access to our amazing market movers scanners, where you get access to the percentage change, the time in which the stock was scanned, whether the stock is moving up or down, the ticker, price, volume, and float, as well as hyperlinks to each and every one of the tickers, so you can get access to their charts, you can get access to their news, you can get access to every single bit of information that you need for research purposes, obviously. And to top it off, you get access to the amazing newsroom over here, which has all sorts of news about the stock market. You know what I mean? The stock market right there. All right. And of course, it gives you access to hyperlinks pertaining to the articles. You get little synopses of the articles as well. And you can click the little links over here, the little hyperlinks, to read the full articles. And to top it off, you get access to all the tickers that are affected by the news within said articles. And you could also click on them, get all the information you want on them, such as from everything, such as the chart, all the way to the ticker, price, volume, float, chart, change, etc., all the percentage points, and the news on all of it. You get access to all that by clicking the link in the description down below, ladies and gentlemen. And to top it off, you get access to our amazing educational community of folks who are basically just trying to build each other up. That's what we're doing. We like to build each other up and grow as a community. That's what we like to do there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we like to do. And of course, you get access to all the indelibles, man. You get access to all the indelibles. And of course, if you choose to check out the Wealth Builders package, you get access to everything from the real-time alerts and scanners, plus, of course, exclusive Wealth Builders content, exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, an exclusive educational course. You get access to Coach Nick Money and myself as well. You get access to both of us, so you can talk to us and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much what you get access to right there. And to top it off, you get exclusive access to basically Wealth Builder exclusive picks. You get access to all sorts of content for them. And to top it off, the scripts. So yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 600. Let's get to 600. Let's take a look at TXXD. TXXD. All right, TXXD, very choppy, low volume, not looking schmexy to me. All right, TXXD. All right, low volume and choppy. Low volume and choppy. There we go. There we go. Ah, that was some good water right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. All right, all right, all right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look over here. Let's see what else we got. AFJK. AFJK has AFJK looking. AFJK is choppy as well, below the VWAP. Not looking too schmexy there. AFJK, choppy, needs to break the VWAP and gain some volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me at him. Let me at him. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. So let's see what else we got here. What else we got? So we got AFJK over here. Let's take a look at another stonk. Let's take a look at another stonk. And let's take a look over here. Somebody requested CETX. CETX as of now is very, very choppy. Gapped up over here all the way up to $3.01. Went back down on some low volume, curled up a little bit, broke the VWAP, went back down, and then has pretty much been between the VWAP and not the VWAP over here. So, yeah, pretty much has been between being above the VWAP and below the VWAP. So we got that going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines right over here. Bop, right there. Currently, as of now, CETX needs to break above the 292 mark and the $3.01 mark and hold just above the VWAP as well as the $2.86 support line right over here. So we got that going on right there. CETX needs to break the resistance and needs volume to do it too. CETX needs volume to hold above the VWAP and break the resistance lines. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's see what else we got over here. What else we got? What else we got? UAVS. UAVS. How's UAVS doing? UAVS needs to break above the VWAPA right over here. Not looking too schmexy as of now. So we got that going on right there. UAVS needs to break above the VWAPA. That's what it's got to do right there. UAVS needs to break above the descending wedge and the VWAPA. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them. All right. Let's see here. Let's take a look at, right? DGNX looks like it's trying to curl a little bit off the pennant, but still needs some volume. DGNX trying to curl off that pennant, but again, needs a little bit more volume than that. So, DGNX needs more volume, but broke above the pennant. So we'll see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens there. All right, let's take a look at IBIO. Somebody requested IBIO. IBIO, very choppy, low volume, not looking schmexy over here, is below the VWAPA, over here. So let's get the support and resistance line right over here. Boom, right here. All right. Set this up right over here and right over there. So as of now, currently, DGNX is just below, just below the VWAPA at $1.94. Has to break above 196 and stay above 190 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, but it is very, 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 very low float. Needs a lot of volume. IBIO needs volume to break the VWAPA and the resistance line. Very choppy. Not looking schmexy to me. There we go. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 900. Let's get to 900, ladies and gentlemen. 900, 900, 900. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Somebody requested IWM. IWM. And after that, we're going to do BIDG. All right. IWM currently falling down on a downtrend right over Mia. Not looking too schmexy to Mia. Not looking schmexy at all. No, 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 no. IWM. IWM needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA for it to remain somewhat schmexy to Mia. There we go. BIDG. How's BIDG doing? What's it looking like? BIDG not looking too schmexy. Very, very low float. Actually, excuse me, low volume. Excuse me. The float is unknown. Volume is 3,000. Very, very choppy as of now. It's called leverage shares 2x long. Up 22%. But again, BIDU. Very low volume. Needs to break the VWAP. Very choppy. So, not looking too schmexy there. BIDU. BIDU. Let's take a look at something else here. Let's take a look at another stock here. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's take a look at SIDU. 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 All right. Let's see what we got going on here. SIDU currently needs to break above this pennant right here. It is above the VWAP, but it needs to break above the pennant right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, it's meh. Up 18%. Needs to break this pennant and needs to stay above the VWAP right there. So SIDU, SIDU needs to stay above the VWAPA and break the pennant. There we go. That's what we need to do with SIDU. SIDU. CHOW. How's it looking? CHOW looks like it's curling again. Does have some very choppy volume going on here. Very choppy wicks over here. But it does have the volume. It has an 11 million float, 30 million volume. So we got that going on right there. But it does need to stay above the VWAP and remain friends with the trend. So that's what it needs to do right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it needs to do. CHOW is above the VWAPA and needs to remain friends with the trend. There we go. All right, DXF. How's DXF doing? DXF still needs to break the pennant. DXF still needs to break the pennant right there. Still needs to break above the pennant. There we go. All right. UAVS. All right. UAVS needs to break above the pennant as well. UAVS needs to break above the pennant and hold above that VWAPA. Yesh. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look again over here. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look at Open. OPEN. Let's see how Open is doing. Open is choppy. Very choppy as of now. Very choppy, low volume. Needs to break above the pennant right over here. So OPEN, very choppy. And bar coding. Needs volume to break the VWAPA and bar coding. Because I could actually put right here a little support, a little bit of a channel time, it's channel time right there. All right, got a channel right here, bada bing, bada boom. PAVS moving. Let's see how PAVS is doing. PAVS moving on a nice little ABCD. Right over here, if you take a look right here, bop right there, A to B, B to C, C to D, right there. So we got that going on. PAVS moving on an ABCD. PAVS moving on an ABCD pattern. Up 30% and climbing. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right there. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, boom. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. Let's get to 1100, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, remember, ladies and gentlemen, to be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, when you sign up for the 4-day trial, you gain access to all of our incredible stock picks right over Mya. All right. You get access to our scanner, which shows the ticker, price, volume, float, percentage changed when it was scanned, whether it's moving up or down, has a series of hyperlinks for all the stocks that are being looked at. So you could click on them, find the charts, read the charts, and get all the news and all sorts of other additional information you may need. To top it off, you also get access to the amazing chat room with all of our indelible, with all of our real-time alerts and scanners, folks, who are basically excellent, just amazing people. They basically love to build themselves up. They love to build each other up. They love to basically grow as an educational community. We like to help each other out, and we like to just grow. That's it. That's what we like to do. We like to grow and build each other up as an educational community. You get access to the scanners. You get access to our amazing newsroom with all sorts of articles. You get the synopsis of the articles. You could read through them. You could basically check them out. You could click on the hyperlink to get the full article, and to top it off, you get access to all the tickers that are affected by the news within said article there, ladies and gentlemen. So you get access to that. You could click on those hyperlinks. You get all the charts and information on those tickers. And yeah, it's an excellent research tool. You get access to our amazing stock ticker tape, which shows all the stocks that we were basically looking at over there. All right. And to top it off, you gain access to just amazing all-out educational content right there. And if you want to join the Wealth Builders, you get access to all that's in the real-time alerts and scanners, plus, of course, the exclusive Wealth Builders chat, where you gain exclusive access to Coach Nick Money and myself. You get access to exclusive Wealth Builder content. You get access to exclusive scripts. You get access to our amazing educational content there, as well as the educational course exclusive to the Wealth Builders, which has over 500 videos of just exclusive Wealth Builder content that could be basically just educational. It helps with new traders for basically growing and just building themselves up and learning, right? And it also helps experienced traders with either dusting off their skills or, to top it off, just basically chilling out and getting to learn things that they might not have known in the past. You know, some people learn new things from that, and other people just grow, you know? But yeah, either way, you grow with it. So yeah, that's it. Be sure to check that stuff out right there. PAVS currently needs to break this little resistance line over here at the 226 mark and hold above this line over here. This trend line, for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya, needs to break the resistance though. So PAVS needs to break the resistance and hold and remain friends with the trend. There we go. Right now, it looks like it's trying to peak above that resistance line right there. It's trying to peak above it right now. It is forming a bottom tail. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails. That's what we like right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1300. Let's get the 1300, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Come on now. PAVS doing its thing right there. Let's take a look at CHOW while we wait. CHOW. Let's see how what it's got going on here. Let me get this refreshed over here. Bop right there. Boom right there. Let's take a look at it over here. Okay, CHOW did shoot up a little bit and then kind of just went back over here and formed a bit of a descending wedge right over here. Needs to break above the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. CHOW needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. So let's get that set up right over there. And of course, Chow looks like it's curling its way on up right now. It does look like it's curling its way on up off the descending wedge. So CHOW curling off the descending wedge right now. CHOW curling off the descending wedge. All right. So, Chow also has some news. Chow Cloud International Holding shares are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in H1 2025 revenue and net income results. So, that's good news. It did have an increase in revenue and had some good H1 filings. So we got that going on right there. There we go. All right. Hold on, stand by. All right. Let's take a look at some other stunks here. Let's see what else we got. And let's see about DXF. DXF looks like, yeah, DXF. All right, DXF currently still needs to break that pennant right there. Not looking schmexy. So we'll take a look at that later. DXF still needs to break through the pennant for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya. Yes, sir. PAVS, let's see over here. PAVS still on the uptrend, still on that uptrend, ladies and gentlemen. Has broken through that resistance line and is still climbing its way on up. PAVS broke the resistance line and is friends with the trend. They meet up for coffee every Sunday, of course. It is friends with the trend because they meet up with coffee every Sunday. Yes, that is what they do. There we go. There we go. All right. But it looks like it is testing that friendship with the trend ship right now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, all right, all right. Somebody requested ASTI. ASTI, let's take a look over here. ASTI, very choppy, very low volume, not looking too schmexy right now. ASTI, very choppy. With low volume. Needs to break the VWAPA because it is currently below the VWAPA. ASTI, very choppy, needs to break the VWAP, but beyond that, there's just so many indecisive wicks. It does not look schmexy at all. Kind of looks like trash, truthfully. If you want me to be honest with you, it looks like booty. So, yeah, not looking too schmexy. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got over here? CHOW. How's CHOW holding on? CHOW currently on an uptrend off the pennant right now. We got that going on right there. CHOW currently on an uptrend off the pennant, slowly climbing up. 71% right there. Actually 72% right there. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Support and resistance lines. Let's see here. All right. Get that right there. That right there. All right. So has to break above the $1.09 mark. Needs to hold above $1. Needs to break $1.09. And it needs to break $1.24 for it to continue to be somewhat schmexy to meow. That's what we got going on. CHOW is slowly climbing its way on up right now. Up $1.05 now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. Let's take a look over here. Let's see. All right. So, DXF. Let's take a look at DXF. DXF. As of now, DXF still, it looks like it's trying to curl above the pennant just a little bit over here. Little bit. It's like a baby curl, but not really. We'll see. As of now, DXF trying to break above the pennant. There we go. SMX. Nope, fell below the pennant. Not looking schmexy there. Let's get rid of that. And we're going to change this up over here so that it needs to break above this pennant right here for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Otherwise, if it doesn't break above this one, it would be a straight up downtrend, and that's it. Needs to break above the VWAP as well. Has a bit of a bottom tail, but it is a bottom tail red. So we'll see what happens there. It needs to break above that bottom tail. SMX needs to break above the bottom tail. Needs to break above the pennant, really. Pennant. And the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. That's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on right there. We got 20 minutes until the bell. The bell. It deafens me. Yeesh. All right, let's take a look at this over here. DXF, CHOW, CHOW. Let's see how CHOW is looking. How's CHOW looking? Is it still at 72? I think it is still at 72. We'll take a look. Let's take a look over here. Let's get this over here. Still over there, still climbing its way on up slowly but surely. Slowly but surely climbing its way on up right now. It's slowly but surely climbing its way on up. Needs to break the resistance line at $1.09 right there for it to continue to be schmexy to mya. So CHOW, CHOW, still making the slow climb. Needs to break the resistance line for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, CHOW has that going on right there. UAVS, UAVS. Let's see about UAVS over here. UAVS looks like it's trying to curl above the pennant right now. All right, UAVS trying to curl above the pennant. UAVS trying to curl above the pennant right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And by the way, UAVS has news that AG Eagle aerial system shares are trading higher after the company sold 6 EB-TAC tactical mapping drones to the U.S. Army. So they sold mapping drones to the U.S. Army. Right there. That's what we got going on. So they sold some tactical mapping drones to the U.S. Army. That's pretty cool. All right. So that's good news for them. AG Eagle has good news. They got good news right there. And it looks like it's trying to curl off that pennant right now. So we'll see what happens right there. We shall see what happens. Let's take a look at Ruby. Ruby right there. RUBI. RUBI, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at RUBI. Let's see here. RUBI. It's below the pennant right now. Let's get a new pennant over here. All right, let's get a new pennant. There we go. All right, all right, all right. Bot right there. All right, bot right there and right there. So it needs to break above this pennant. It needs to break above the VWAP for it to be so much Mexi Tumya. Has news that Rubico shares are trading higher after the company announced it entered into a purchase agreement for the acquisition from Top Ships of a vessel-owning company, which is a party to a shipbuilding contract for a new building mega yacht. So these guys are building a mega yacht? Jesus. I could only imagine what it's like on a mega yacht. Wow, I can't wait to see one of those. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of cool. I could only see. I'm guessing like a mega yacht is like a miniature cruise ship, kind of, sort of, right? It's like a big old. Not. Actually, no. I shouldn't say like a cruise ship because cruise ships like have a lot of stuff. But I mean, mega yachts are probably like pretty big and spacious and all sorts of cool stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah. So, needs to break this little bit of resistance over here. Needs to break the VWAP. And needs to break the pennant right here. So, Ruby's got a little bit of a ways to go here. So, RUBI has some good news, though. Has some good news. RUBI needs to break the resistance, pennant, and VWAP for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right, let's take a look at WTO. Somebody requested WTO. Let's take a look at WTO. Has unconfirmed H1 earnings due in 11 days from now on January 13th before the market opens. Very, very choppy and very, very choppy below the VWAP. WTO. Very choppy and below the VWAPA. Needs volume to become somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. All right, all right, all right. PAVS. Let's see how PAVS is doing. PAVS. Let's see here. PAVS currently formed a bit of a pennant right over here. Let's take a look. Bot right there. Bot right there. Okay. So PAVS as of now needs to break that pennant for it to remain somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So PAVS needs to break above the pennant. Needs to break above the pennant right there. PAVS. PAVS needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA for it to remain somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, needs to break above both of those for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Otherwise, not looking schmexy there. Somebody requested SERV. SERV. How's SERV looking? SERV looking like garbage. Garbaggio. Not looking too schmexy there. So, SERV needs to break this pennant over here for it to remain somewhat schmexy to meow. So, SERV needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA. Very low volume and choppy as of now. So we got that going on. SERV needs volume for it to remain somewhat schmexy to meow. Someone requested ASTI. ASTI, very choppy, not looking schmexy. Indecisive wicks everywhere. Needs to break the VWAP. Not looking too schmexy there as well. So let's see. ASTI needs to break the VWAPA and gain some volume. Very choppy with indecisive wicks. There we go. There we go. All right. That's what we got going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's take a look at CHOW. Let's see how CHOW is holding. CHOW still has some resistance, a little bit of resistance right over here at the $1.04 mark. Needs to break that resistance right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. CHOW needs to break the resistance line. There we go. All right. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2,000, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check it out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. And the early bird gets the catch. Cash. Mark Croach said, Happy New Year, all. Like, share, subscribe. Any thoughts on WTO? Mark Croach, welcome, brother. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you as well. And thank you for the shout out there. And of course, yes, let me take a look at WTO right now. I'll take a look at WTO. As of now, last I checked, it didn't have much in the volume department. Had a couple of indecisive wicks over here. Had some H1 earnings unconfirmed for in 11 days. And basically, the H1 earnings are supposedly coming out on January 13th, supposedly before the market open. So we got that going on right there. Now, as of now with WTO, it's very, very choppy. It is below the VWAP right over here. Very, very choppy. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 1.94 million. I call it 2 million, but it's 1.9 to be honest. All right. So you got that going on right there. The volume is 2 million and change, 2.09 million. So the volume is just above the float. So that's good. That's a good sign. However, that being stated, WTO is currently below the VWAP over here. Does it have any news? Let's take a look and see if it has any news. WTO has news that came out on the 31st that U-Time won nearly $10 million with a 50,000 unit smart health wearables order to enter North American markets. So they got that going on right there. WTO, as of now, needs to break this VWAP right here. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it right over here. All right, let's get some support and resistance lines. Bop right there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's see here. Boom and boom as of now. So has to hold above that $1.06 line, needs to break above the VWAP at 114, needs to break above 117, and then needs to break the resistance at 135. So as of now, WTO needs to break the VWAP and the resistance lines. Needs more volume. Needs more volume, but it's starting to really curl above it right there. Consistency spike asks for GVH. All right, we'll take a look at GVH right here. GVH not looking too schmexy as of now. Did have a steep drop over here and then kind of consolidated around below the VWAP. Let me actually make this a bit bigger over here. Yep, a lot of indecisive wicks, a lot of low volume over here. And it looks like it's been going on a bit of a downtrend. So as of now, GVH would need to really break this downtrend over here and break above the VWAP for it to really be somewhat schmexy to me. So GVH, as of now, needs to break above the downtrend and the VWAP. That's what GVH would really need to do. Let's take a look at the float and volume for this stock right here. Float is 1.5 million, we'll call it. Volume is 116,000 and change, so the volume is lower than the float. Not looking too schmexy right there. So we'll check it out. The other stocks right here, some consistency requested NICE. NICE, let's take a look at NICE. All right, NICE over here currently had a bit of an uptrend going up over here, had a little bit of an ABCD, right? But then kind of started going down, right? Fell below the VWAP, kind of broke above the VWAP a little bit, and is currently above the VWAP, but on some very, very, very low volume. Expensive stock as well, $114 and change, up 1% on this stock right here. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 61.4 million. Volume is 2.6 thousand. So as of now, the float is 61 million, volume is 2,000 and change. So we got that going on right there. Not looking too schmexy in terms of float and volume. Not looking too schmexy there. Let's take a look at the news. Does it have any good news? And not a lot of good news here. It did have something that came out on the 23rd of December that Rosenblatt maintained a buy on NICE and maintained a $175 price target. But again, this is a very extremely high price stock, very low volume, not looking too schmexy there, and of course a lot of indecisive wicks. So as of now, NICE, very low volume and needs to break the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2200. Someone requested CALM. CALM. Let's take a look at CALM. All right, so CALM is currently up 0.8%. Conference call is scheduled in 5 days at 9 a.m., and the Q2 earnings have been confirmed to be out in 5 days from now on January 7th before the market opens. So we got that going on right there. It is on a bit of a downtrend, though, has been on a bit of a downtrend here, and did have a couple of indecisive wicks over here. Had one that popped above the VWAP, but then it dropped back down, and then kind of just formed a bit of a tiny red wick over here, and then popped up and touched the VWAP, but then again popped its way back down. Very, very choppy in terms of movement, very, very low in terms of volume. Not looking too schmexy here. Is a bit of a heavy price stock as well. It is $80 and change. So as of now, this stock is a little bit heavy in terms of price. Let's take a look at the UAVS moving. Oh my, UAVS moving. We'll take a look at CALM. Just going to say that it really needs more volume. That's really all it needs right here, because the float is 40.4 million. Volume is 311. So, not looking too schmexy there. So, CALM, low volume, and very choppy, needs to break the VWAP. All right, let's take a look at UAVS. UAVS has UAVS holding up right there. Again, UAVS has news that AG Eagle Aerial Systems shares are trading higher after the company sold 6 EB tactical mapping drones to the U.S. Army. Because, selling drones to the Army is kind of good news for the, it's kind of good news for the stonks. It's grinding on up right now off the pennant right there. UAVS grinding on up off the pennant, up 38% and climbing its way up slowly but surely, grinding its way on up right there. UAVS grinding on upwards. All right. Needs to remain friends with the trend. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second. 1 second. All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. Just had to go grab some real quick. All right, so let's take a look over here. UAVS still on that climb.
It's a heavy stock, but it's trying.
It's a heavy stock, but it is trying to climb right now.
It's trying.
UAVS, she do be trying right there.
Get closer to the bail.
The bail. 2 minutes to the bail.
Leading gainer.
UAVS climbing on up right now. UAVS climbing. Climbing, baby.
Climb, baby, climb.
That's what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
The bail in the minute.
All right.
Bail.
Last in the minute right there for the bail.
Bail's in the minute. Bail.
The bail. The bail. The bail. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Let's go, bail.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Got the bail coming up right now. Coming up in just a minute as CHOW kind of does a bit of a climb. CHOW climbing right now. CHOW. All right. All right. All right. All right. 1 second right here. 1 second. 1 second. And it made a bit of a pennant right here and then proceeded to climb its way on up. CHOW now up 74%. 74% and climbing. All right. 1 second. 1 second. All right, we got a bail. We got the bail, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right there. Right there. All right. All right. All right. All right. Hold on 1 second. Yes, sir. It's time for the bell. The bell. It make the ringy dingy do the wee woo. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, as of now, currently has to break this little resistance line right over here, right there. Yes, sir. All right. It has to break this resistance line right over here for CHOW. CHOW has to break the resistance line right over there. CHOW. CHOW.
W.
Yesh. Needs to break the resistance line. It looks like it fell below the uptrend. So, not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking too schmexy there. All right, let's take a look at AFJK. AFJK. All right, AFJK. Choppy. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Choppy, choppy, choppy. AFJK. AFJK. Currently, very, very choppy. Very choppy right now. All right. Very choppy. Needs to break the VWAPA. All right. Let's see what else we got. Alex Martinez says, morning. Can we get a look at PAVS? All right. Just 1 second. Let me just take a look at one more stonk right over here, and then we'll get on to yours. Consistency requested MEME. They wanted the meme, which is an ETF. We'll take a look at it over here. And it looks like meme is kind of choppy as of now. Not looking too schmexy right now at this moment in time. Needs to break above the VWAPA over here. Again, not a lot of volume over here. We'll take a look at the float. Float is not available as of now. Volume is 10.9% thousand. So volume is extremely low. And it doesn't look like it's really showing much here. So again, very, very choppy. Not looking too schmexy as of now. Needs volume. MEME. Low float, low volume, low volume. And needs to break the VWAP. Again, as of now, very choppy. Very choppy, ladies and gentlemen. Very choppy. Not looking too schmexy right there. Alex asked for PAVS. Let's take a look at PAVS. Let's see what we got here. So PAVS, as of now, currently tried to peak above the pennant and then broke below it just a little bit. Not looking too schmexy as of now. Let me actually change this over here. So, bless you, by the way, coach. All right. So let's see here. Made a bit of a pennant right over here. Needs to break above the pennant right here and needs to hold above the VWAP as of now. PAVS has a 667,000 float, 6 million volume. So the volume is higher than the float. That's what we got going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Bot right there and bot right there. All right, so as of now, PAVS has to hold above the $2.13 mark, has to hold above 222 and break through it, and then has to break through 238, and has to also stay above the VWAP at 218. So we got that going on right there. PAVS needs to break above the pennant, and it looks like it is trying to break above the pennant. Broke above the 222 market, is now $2.29 right there, and climbing its way on up right there. Consistency said, thank you. Of course, man. Our pleasure. Our pleasure, our pleasure, our pleasure. All right, let's see about PAVS. PAVS needs to break the pennant. It has tried to break it before. Can it climb? We'll see. We shall see. We shall see if it can make the climb. Sidu, Sidu. All right. SIDU. Sidu, Sidu. Sidu, Sidu. All right. Let's take a look at Sidu, Sidu. All right. Sidu, Sidu below the VWAPA. Formed a bit of a double topper. Not looking too schmexy right now. Sidu needs to break the VWAPA, though. Sidu needs to break the VWAP. So, SIDU needs to break the VWAP. Very sporadic as of now. So, very sporadic movement. All right, let's take a look over here. Hunting says Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Ruby. All right, let's take a look at RUBI. Yeah, RUBI, yeah. It broke above the pennant at first and then kind of just dropped its way on down. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking too schmexy as of now, really, with Ruby. It did have a massive drop over here. And it did have some news that Rubico shares are trading higher after the company announced it entered into a purchase agreement from the acquisition from Top Ships of a vessel owning company, which is party to a shipbuilding contract for a new building mega yacht. My guess, it probably diluted. I wouldn't be surprised if it diluted, because this drop right here, to me, I don't quote me on it. I think personally it might be dilution, because ain't no way it drops like that unless it dilutes. Ain't no type of dilution drop like a dilution drop. I'm just saying. So Ruby has a bit of a resistance right over Mya at 140. Has to break through that, which, we'll see what happens there. But Ruby, as of now, needs to break the downtrend and needs to break the resistance line in VWAP. So RUBI needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP and resistance line. There we go. Needs to break the downtrend, the VWAP, and the resistance line for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. There we go. There we go. LVRO, by the way, LVRO. Let's see how LVRO is doing. Moving up on... Yeah, it's halted. It is halted. Moving up on low volume and then halted. Moved up on low volume and then halted. LVRO moved up on low volume and then halted. Boom, right there. All right. Had to get that out of there. Had to get that right there. Is up 95%, though. Is up 95%. Yeesh. Alex Martinez says, last few weeks I've been seeing a lot of companies sell and buy a portion of shares back later in a week. Yeah, I've been seeing that too quite a bit. So they've been doing that stuff, you know how it is. You know how it is. They've been doing a lot of selling their stuff and then just buying it back later. And normally they buy it back at like a lower price. So they do that. They normally sell high and try to, buy low, which, yeah, I mean, if I were in their shoes, yeah, sure. I mean, of course, try to buy low and sell high. Of course, that's what any smart investor would do. So it makes sense. It tracks. You know what I mean? AFJK. currently, AFJK needs to break above this resistance line right over here at $91. Currently, though, very, very, very choppy, very low volume, and very expensive. AFJK. Expensive and needs volume to break the resistance and choppiness. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me, folks. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Actually, BNAI. Let's do BNAI before we leave. BNAI. Huh? Oh, BNAI regained compliance with NASDAQ. That's good for them. All right, so they got that going on, but they also have a bit of a resistance line right over here at the $3.14 mark. So they have to break above $3.14. BNAI regained compliance. Regained compliance and needs to remain friends with the trend by breaking the resistance line. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, remember to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners. Gain access to our amazing stock picks, the stock scanners over here that show the ticker, price, volume, float, etc. And to top it off, it shows the hyperlinks to all the stocks that we got going on right over here. So it shows all the hyperlinks to all the stocks that we have been keeping an eye on. And also you get access to the newsroom, which shows all the little bits and pieces of the articles. You get a synopsis of the article. You click the hyperlink, you get the full article, and to top it off, you get access to all the tickers that are affiliated with the news within said article and all of the information for those tickers. And to top it off, you gain access to our ticker tape, where it shows stocks that we're currently keeping an eye on. And to top it off, you gain access to our amazing educational community and just amazing people who basically want to help grow each other and grow themselves and build themselves and each other in a positive manner. So that's what we do right there. And check out our Wealth Builders package, which gives you everything in the real-time alerts and scanners package, plus exclusive Wealth Builders picks, exclusive Wealth Builders content, and exclusive Wealth Builders educational course, exclusive access to Coach Nick Money and myself, and more, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. So take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. You have a wonderful day. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys had a great one. I hope you guys got to pop some bottles, have some fun with your friends, family, etc. And I hope you guys had a good time, man, because me, I had a great time. And I look forward to the rest of this 2026. And, obviously, here's to a new year of making money. Here's to a new year of you guys. And here's to a new year of just making money in general, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, here's to a new year, man. Much love. Take care. Much love to you from the Coach Nick Money family, the Indelible family. Indelible peeps, we love you guys. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do half the stuff we've been doing. So, yeah, be sure to check us out, man. And, of course, you can find us on our YouTube channel at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us there. at Coaching Money, and you can find us there. We're doing lots of live streams, lots of videos, lots of shorts, lots of stock reviews, stock analysis, all sorts of cool stuff there. And of course, you can find us on x.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, you can find us there where we do lots of live streams, lots of stock analysis and stock reviews. You can find us as well on Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook, Instagram, and what's the Threads at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on Twitch where we do lots of live streaming at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on TikTok, Tiki-Taki, aka the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. You can find us there. We do lots of shorts at Coaching Money. At Coach Nick Money, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. There we go. All right. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our show, which is going to be coming out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Power Plays, which is exclusively on YouTube, X, and Twitch. It's going to be hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he takes a look at the stonks and gives his honest synopsis and analysis of said stonks, and then does that for the power portion just before the power hour. And then he also does the play portion of the show, where he basically does a lot of just power plays there. He does some Fortnite, gets some dubs for the community, lets the stonks simmer, and then goes back to looking at the stonks, lets them simmer again, goes back and plays Fortnite, and then gets some more dubs and does his thing. So that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do. That show is going to be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to check it out. Keep yourselves liked, comment, and subscribed on the YouTube channel to stay notified when new videos are uploaded, as well as live streams. And remember to share, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Helps support the stream, helps us grow, and helps us continue to make content like this, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you. Thank you so much. We love you. All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me. Much love. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I'm here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds. LVRO, by the way, 140%. LVRO, 140%. New bagger. Hold on. LVRO. New bagger. Up 140%. That's how high it hit. Just wanted to put that up there. Of course, just as I'm leaving now, wants to go and make the ringy dingy and make the wee woo. Of course. Type stuff. And looks like it halted again. All right. Anyways, so yeah, as I was saying, she likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Sometimes she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she likes to regular ski. Other times she likes to get shot at the cannon and she goes wee. Other times she likes to party and go to Arby's. And sometimes she likes to go and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Sometimes she'll go to Wendy's. And other times she'll steal my lo mein. And of course, there are times where she will see Mickey D's. But, you know, you got that from time to time. Who doesn't have a little bit of a Mickey D's, especially with the French fries? You know what I mean? So, of course, we call her Divya Moms. Hey! Yes. And of course, that's pretty much it for us. Divya Moms. Hit him with the hay. That was. Come on, you gotta hit with the round with a little bit of. All right, there we go. That's what I'm talking. A little bit needs a little bit more oomph, Divya Moms. You need to work on it. Let me see your war face. Ah! Let me see your war face. That is a good movie. Anyways, much love, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys soon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.